They tell us space exploration is about curiosity. It's about discovery, science, and progress. It's about reaching the stars, because it's in our nature. But what if that's not the real reason we're building rockets? What if it's not about where we're going, but about what we're trying to escape? Over the past 2 decades, a handful of private programs have poured billions into off-world development. New propulsion systems, Martian habitats, closed-loop life support. Meanwhile, Earth is burning. Politically, economically, literally, quietly, the focus has shifted. It's not about exploring space anymore. It's about leaving Earth. Not all of us, just a few. And the strangest part, the plan has been in motion longer than you think. Look closer, and you'll see the signs. Governments investing in deep bunker contracts while cutting climate mitigation. Tech CEOs publicly warning of extinction-level threats, while launching reusable rockets every month. Satellite constellations growing, communications becoming tightly managed. This isn't about going to space. It's about getting away before it's too late. A few months ago, a post appeared on a locked hiring board. It wasn't public. It wasn't indexed by Google. You had to be referred, logged in, and cleared. The listing was short: seeking life support systems engineer for orbital long-term habitation project. Minimum commitment: 10 years. Extended isolation readiness required. Background and cryosleep protocols preferred. No company name, no location. There's no way to apply unless you already knew how. A friend of mine in closed-circuit aerospace circles sent me a screenshot. He said it had appeared, stayed up for 36 minutes, then vanished. Later, I found fragments of similar postings archived on a mirrored version of a classified industry site. They all referenced something called Tier 3 contingency housing. One included a file name embedded in the code, arc-inva236.zip. Nobody in the public space sector had ever heard of it. And yet the infrastructure was being built. Discrete supply chains, private launch pads, materials ordered in coded invoices. None of it matched any known program. That's when I started paying attention, because this wasn't a movie. This was real planning for a real departure. When you start looking, the pieces are everywhere. Massive construction zones and deserts labeled as remote test sites. Closed-door Senate budgets with vague line items for continuity of operations in non-terrestrial domains. Billions funneled into propulsion tech that never reaches the public eye. And then there are the launches. Some rockets go up with public fanfare, streamed events, countdowns, hashtags, but others don't. No announcement, no explanation. It's just a weather satellite or test payload logged hours later in obscure aerospace tracking databases. And more than once, those logs get corrected. It's updated with a different name, or just quietly disappear. I spoke with an amateur orbital tracker, a guy who scans the sky every night. He told me some launches don't show up at all. There are payloads that don't reflect, like they're designed to stay hidden. One former contractor told me the mission he worked on wasn't logged in any manifest. I was building parts of something I wasn't allowed to name, he said. All I knew was the spec. It had to support 12 people for over 2 years without resupply. And then he paused. They said that wasn't the full version. It's just the test shell. So if that was the test, what's already out there? Some believe these silent missions are just tests. Others aren't so sure. In early 2023, leaked documents from a high-orbit vehicle manufacturer showed internal references to something called Continuation Protocol ZOLEF, a classification assigned to only 3 active projects. The details were scrubbed, but the name appeared again, buried in a subcontractor invoice for atmospheric filtration under lunar conditions. These aren't space station upgrades. These are survival systems, told that everything being launched is part of normal expansion, innovation, peace. But every layer you peel back, every hidden contract, every silent launch, starts to resemble not research, but retreat. And the countdown may have started years ago. You've seen the charts. It's temperature rise, sea level, economic instability. But there's another set of models you don't see. Internal risk assessments. It's the kind prepared for insurance giants, defense sectors, continuity governments. One of those documents leaked in fragments last year. It's not to the media, to a data science forum. It included simulations of Earth's livability by decade. By 2080, red zones covering 60% of populated land, By 2095, total ecosystem collapse in multiple biospheres. At the top corner of one page, a phrase was stamped: Project EDEN Risk Tier Alpha/Civilian Exclusion. That same term appeared in a whistleblower deposition 3 years earlier. She worked in risk analytics for an intergovernmental group. When asked what Tier Alpha meant, her answer was simple. It's the group that gets to leave. Not metaphorically. Not in bunkers. Leave. Off-planet. The most disturbing part. She said the selection list had already been drafted, 12,000 names, updated quarterly. And every line had a field labeled Asset Usefulness Score. I tried to find more, couldn't. But I did find one more oddity. A language model trained on anonymized government data. Ask it what happens in 2101. It doesn't say extinction, it says departure window missed. There was also a short-lived public data stream, just numbers, nothing labeled. Buried in one of the time sequences was a repeating value, 11,023. It appeared every 26 lines, like a heartbeat. A user on the forum decoded it using a telemetry timestamp algorithm. They said it matched the date of a sealed launch. One never acknowledged but faintly tracked by amateur arrays. The payload weight: 62 metric tons. No known satellite or cargo matches it. When someone asked the forum admin about the leak, the thread was gone in under an hour. And the user who posted it, account deleted. History wiped, username locked. All of this might be a coincidence, or it might be something else. Not preparation, not defense, extraction. The official narrative says no one is leaving. That Earth is our only home. That space is inspirational, aspirational, not logistical, but the infrastructure says otherwise. The patterns point to something darker. Multiple sources across aerospace, defense, biotech, and advanced materials refer to internal tags labeled priority relocation or genetic viability tiering. They're vague, but consistent. Some are even tied to tax shelters and real estate holdings, not on Earth, but in orbital legal zones. In simpler terms, someone is already deciding who gets to survive. And it's not about merit. It's not about heroism. It's about assets, influence, intelligence, quotients, reproductive potential. Theoretical evacuation models leaked in 2021 outlined passenger selection algorithms. The top 5% of humans by a score no one publicly sees, the rest not even considered. And it explains the silence. Why no one speaks. Why no one confirms. Because if it's true, if there really is a departure plan, the last thing they want is panic, because panic means they don't get to leave cleanly. One ex-bureau analyst said the quiet part out loud anonymously. You were never supposed to know. The goal was to lift off before the rest of you even noticed the countdown. And maybe that's the most chilling part. It's already begun, and you're not on the list. There's an unconfirmed story passed around between aerospace subcontractors about a facility in the southern hemisphere, not on any map, shielded from satellite scans. Inside, they say, is a sealed hangar with a spacecraft that's already flight-ready. It's not massive, it's not dramatic, it's discreet. And it's not for everyone. Some say the flight plan is preloaded. Destination. Not Mars, not the Moon, but a Lagrange point habitat, hidden from telescopic view. And the protocol that governs access to it. One name, Last Arc Directive. No files, no images. Just that phrase, etched into a ceramic panel, reportedly installed near the entry hatch. A reminder that if something truly goes wrong, you won't be invited. You won't hear it on the news. There'll be no announcement, no countdown, no sirens. When the time comes, the ships will already be gone. Maybe it's in 10 years, maybe less, be one already left. And all that will remain is a silence that no one can explain, and no one will want to. A gap in the launch records, a facility abandoned overnight. It's an empty sky where something used to be. You'll ask where they went. The answers will be vague, denials, distractions. But some part of you will know. Because deep down we've always suspected. The elite don't build escape plans for fun. They don't invest billions to inspire. They do it to survive. And when the moment comes, when the algorithms say go, they wait. Not for the public, not for consensus, not for you. The Earth will end as it always has, with the rich boarding lifeboats and the rest of us watching the ocean rise. Except this time, the ocean isn't water, it's fire. And the sky will stay quiet forever, and you'll still be here. The broadcasts looping old messages, with emergency channels silent, so with heat rolling in from the horizon and no one answering your calls. The stories will shift. People will say the launches were faked, that no one ever left, that it was all a lie. But you'll look at the empty sky, at the crater in the desert where something massive once stood, at the rails still warm from movement, and you'll realize they didn't lie, they just left without you. So when you hear the quiet, when the stars feel different, when the night seems to still, you'll know the truth. The evacuation wasn't for everyone. It never was.